Whenever we are adding integers using a number line, if they are positive numbers, we'll be moving toward the right direction, as that means that we are actually increasing the value. And we are adding negative numbers, that means we are subtracting a number which is decreasing, so the direction will be going toward the left. Below are 4 examples, we'll be going over each one. For the first example, we have -5 plus 7. So that tells us the starting point is going to be -5. So we place -5. And since we're adding 7, that means the value is increasing and we're going toward the right direction. So we'll go 7 spaces toward the right. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll end up at 2. So that would be the answer for number 1. For the second example, we have 3 plus -6. And this example means that we're adding a negative number. So even though it has the addition sign, but we're adding a negative value. So adding a negative value is the same as 3 minus 6. And in this case, we're going toward the left direction. So our starting point is 3, so we'll place the point on 3. Then we want to go 6 spaces to the left. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so we'll end up at -3. And that's our answer. For the third example, we have -3 plus -2. Just like the second example, we're adding a negative number. So we're heading toward the left. And this is equivalent to -3 minus 2. So starting point will be -3. And we're going toward the left 2 spaces. And that's 1, 2. So our answer for this would be -5. For the fourth example, we have -5 plus 8. So we know we're increasing the value, and that means we're going toward the right. Starting point will be -5, and we'll go 8 spaces to the right. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our final answer would be 3 for the fourth example. So these are 4 examples of how you would add integers using a number line. When you're adding positive numbers, you're increasing the value, and so you will be moving spaces to the right. Whereas when you're adding negative numbers, you're decreasing the value, and you'll be moving spaces toward the left. When we subtract positive numbers, we're going toward the left of a number line. Whereas subtracting negative numbers, we're going toward the right. And subtracting positive numbers means that we're decreasing the value. That's why it's going left. And when we're subtracting a negative value, it means that we have a double negative. So we're actually increasing the number. Below are 4 examples, and we'll go over each one. For the first example, we have 4 minus 8. We'll start with 4, so we will place the point at 4. Then we're minusing by 8. Since we're subtracting a positive number, therefore we're going left. And so we're gonna go 8 spaces to the left. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we will end up at -4. And that would be our answer for the first one. And notice how when we're subtracting a positive number, we're going toward left. And that means that we're decreasing the value. Now for the second example, we have a -2 minus -5. So here we have an expression that is subtracting a negative number. So it's a double negative, as you can see here. So -2 minus -5 means that it's a +5. So we're adding 5, which means that we're heading toward the right direction. So we'll start out with -2. and we're gonna go 5 spaces to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll end up at 3. So 3 would be the answer for this expression. Now for the third example, we have -1 minus 3. Now this is subtracting a positive number, so we'll be going toward left. And starting point is -1, and we'll go 3 spaces to the left. So that's 1, 2, 3. And the answer is -4. Now for the fourth example, we are subtracting a negative number. So -4 minus -7. So again, we have a -4, double negative equals +7. And that means we're going to be heading this direction toward the right as we are increasing the value. So starting point is -4. We're going to go 7 spaces to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And our answer is 3. So these 4 examples are how you would subtract integers using a number line. When you're subtracting positive numbers, you're decreasing the value, and the direction you're going is toward the left. So when you decrease value, you're going left. And when you are subtracting a negative number, which is double negative, it becomes positive, and you're going toward the right direction. When multiplying integers, depending on if the integer is negative or positive, the outcome will be different. If the multiplication involves one negative integer, then the answer will be negative. If the multiplication involves 2 negative numbers, then the answer will be positive. Below are 4 examples, and we'll be going over each one of them. For the first example, we have 7 times -5. So we can see the negative here. If we were to multiply 7 by 5, we would have 35. Now since this is a negative number, so one negative number in the multiplication means that the answer will be negative. So the answer will be changed to -35. And you can think of it like this. If you have a positive multiplying by a negative, the answer would be negative. Vice versa, if you have a negative number times by a positive number, the outcome would be negative as well. For the second example, we have -12 times by -10. So this example, we have 2 negatives. 2 negative integers multiplying each other will result in a positive integer. So -12 times -10, we can take the 12 times the 10, and that will give us 120. Now since there's 2 negatives, then the outcome is positive. So 120 would be the answer. And you can think of it like this. Negative times negative equals positive. So when you have a negative sign multiplying by a negative sign, it will convert to a positive. And that's really the only time when negative will become positive, if there's a negative integer times by a negative integer. Now for the third example, -8 times 9. We have only one negative, so we know the outcome will be negative. And then we have 8 times 9. And 8 times 9 is 72. And one negative means that this answer will be -72. Now for the fourth example, we have 22 times -2. Again, only one negative, so we can place a negative first. Then we take the 22 times the 2. That gives us 44. And so the answer is -44. In this video, I'll be going over how to divide integers. When you're dividing integers, if both numbers are positive, we know that it would be a positive integer as an answer. But if we have one negative integer, it means that our quotient will be negative. And if you have two negatives, then the quotient will definitely be positive, as negative divided by negative becomes positive. So below are 4 examples, and we'll go over each one of them. For the first example, we have 36 divided by negative 6. And since we have one negative, we know the quotient will be negative. So what is 36 divided by 6? So we know the answer is 6. Now since it has a negative integer, we know the quotient will be negative. So therefore the answer is negative 6. For the second example, we have negative 48 divided by 8. And since the dividend is negative, that means that one negative will result in negative quotient. So we can place a negative first. Then 48 divided by 8. The answer is 6. So the answer is negative 6. For the third example, 60 divided by negative 6. So we have a negative here. So we know the outcome will be negative. 60 divided by 6 is 10. And so the answer is negative 10. For the last example, we have negative 24 divided by negative 3. And this one has two negatives. And so the outcome will be a positive quotient. So 24 divided by 3 is 8. And since we have two negatives, we know this is going to be positive, so it will be 8. So these are 4 examples of how you would divide integers. One negative will result in negative quotient, where two negatives will result in positive quotient.